TVs once again once we start doing some more fundraising. So unfortunately, events have been canceled right now for the Fall Festival, but when we do look to open back up, we will look to still have that father-daughter, the mother-son glow party, and we will be looking for many volunteers for those events, so lots of opportunities there as well. We do, however, have some committees that are helping to make our CCE family special today. We have our staff appreciation crew, which manages our First Friday event, where we give our CCE staff a little token to show how much we care. We also have the Honor Roll Committee, which gets together a small treat and gift for our Honor Roll students. And if you would like to join any of those committees, you can always email us or find us on social media and drop into our DMs, and then we will be happy to reach out to you and see how you guys can get involved as well. So with that, I am going to pass it over to Lainey. Lainey is our treasurer. She knows all things money, and she's just going to share briefly with you guys what we've been doing so far this year. Lainey?
So because our volunteer opportunities are limited, we are trying to still help as much as we can financially. We did sponsor the Scholastic News this year, so as to take as much pressure off families as we could. We also are limited on our fundraising though, so we haven't been bringing in as much. We're trying to do a few things. We've got the Spirit Rock, which is great for fundraising. We're still wanting to do a book fair. We're trying to figure out whether or not we want to do a virtual or in-school book fair this year. We're wanting to put together another fundraiser, but we're still looking for ideas. We're thinking maybe popcorn, maybe Charleston wrap, something like that. But if you have any ideas for anything like that, you can always email us. And then we're still hoping to do our biggest fundraiser, which is, like she mentioned, the Booster-thon. The last one we did, we raised about $25,000, and that was what helped us finish out the playground. So it's a really big one, and we're hoping to be able to get that in this year as well. So if you have any ideas, like I said, just email us. And Kendra Heck is also on the board as communications, and she has the last update for you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kendra. It's nice to virtually see everyone. I wanted to give you a heads up that we are going to be announcing the pumpkin decorating contest that we've done in the past. It goes along with the kindergartner pumpkin assignment. So the kindergartners have to pick a book character and create a pumpkin. So all of theirs will be automatically put into the contest, but we are opening it up to the school. So if your student is in any of the other grades, they are welcome to participate in the pumpkin contest. So there'll be some flyers on our social media accounts, and we'll get all of that information sent out as well. And don't forget that we have new spirit wear. So if you follow us on Instagram, you can check out the link in our bio. The Instagram account is Cottle Creek PTO, all one word, Cottle Creek PTO. Give us a follow on Instagram. I try to keep the link to the spirit wear in our bio so that you always know where it is. We've got lots of new designs this year. So even if you purchased shirts last year, there's new stuff. We use a vendor, her name is Jean from Cut from the Heart, and she is amazing. Her quality is really high, and we get money back from the sales of those. So it's a great way to raise some money for our PTO as well. So I'm new to the board this year, and I'm really excited to be serving the CCE community. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you. Is there any questions for PTO? Go ahead, Tyler. Did you have anything else with PTO?
We're all set. Thank you guys so much for having us tonight.
Thank you. And they always do a great job supporting teachers. We always appreciate it. We enjoy the goodies on Fridays at the beginning of the month. All right, so we are going to start our IB presentation. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so we are Cottle Creek, and we are an IB school, so there's just a couple things that we're going to go over tonight. It's not going to be anything too overwhelming. We're just going to overview of have an overview of what the PYP is for our school, what learner profile means, what the inquiry cycle means. Ms. Vale is going to touch on students taking action, and then we'll have some question and answer time. So just to start with being an IB school, what we look at is having students be inquirers. We want them to ask the questions. We want them to drive the learning with things that they're interested in. So we want to start with you guys being able to answer some questions here. So if you could just answer one or both of these questions in the chat. The questions are, what qualities do you want your child to have when they complete their schooling, or what does it mean to be an IB school? So if you could answer one or both of these questions. So it's, what qualities do you want your child to have when they complete their schooling, and what does it mean to be an IB school? Good, so I see inquisitive learner so far. Oops, let's go back. So we want them to have leadership skills and social skills. Sorry, I'm trying to move this box. I'm hoping this isn't right in the middle for you guys, but I think it is. Let me stop sharing for a minute. All right, we have understanding of different cultures, respect. That is perfect. That is exactly what we want for an IB school. All right, if you still haven't answered, you can still put your answer in the chat. All right, so we're gonna play a little game, and if your children are with you, they can help you as well. So I'm just gonna post a question, and in the chat, if you could just answer with either A, B, C, or D. So the first one is, what do the letters IB stand for? So what do the letters, oops, let me go back. What do the letters, ooh, I went way far ahead, IB stand for? So if you can just put in the chat what you think it means. Let me look at the chat. All right, so I see some B's, some D's. All right, so the correct answer is B. So it means to be international, or the International Baccalaureate. So we're looking for students to have international thinking about people from all over the nation, all over our country. We want students to have more in mind than just our school or themselves. They're trying to think internationally, and we want them to be ready for the world beyond. What do the letters PYP stand for? All right, we have some A's and B's, A's. Some A's with question marks. Oops, too far. All right, so PYP stands for the primary years program. So from K through 5, we are the primary years program, and we were the first one in the county to have a primary year program in elementary school. Cloverleaf is now also an authorized school as of last year. So there's 2 PYP schools in Iredell County. And then our students can also follow the program up to MYP, which is the middle years program, and they can continue at Mount Morn, which is now Brawley School. So they can continue at Brawley if they like, or they can go to Woodland. But if they'd like to continue in the IB program, they can continue there. And we also have a diploma program in high school, so they can continue all the way up through going to South High. So it is a wonderful program, and they can continue their whole career. What is the main approach to teaching in the PYP? Okay, we've got some D's, some B's. Oops. Okay, so the answer is actually D, all three. So we want, in the PYP school, we want students to be inquiring. We also have a transdisciplinary learning, so we continue our learning all across all contents. And we also are concept-based, so it's actually all three. There's only a couple more questions. So what do we call the more specific statements that we're inquiring into? If you can just put either A, B, C, or D in the chat. All right, so it's C, the lines of inquiry. So teachers start when they're building units and they look at what the main idea, the key concepts, they look at the lines of inquiry, they start creating some from a central idea and a theme. And then students can add to the lines of inquiry as the units are going on as well. All right, so our last question, which group of words contain only learner profile traits? And if you're not even sure what learner profile means yet, then we'll be talking a little bit more about that too. So only learner profile traits. All right, so the answer for this one is actually C. So you might know this because your child's attended for the last couple years, and we do celebrate learner profile each month. We haven't done that yet this year because we didn't want to call all the students up together, but we are going to look at celebrating them for October, and we'll probably just get a picture in the classroom and then post them all together. So your student in the past, if they've been going to Cottle Creek, might have been the inquirer of the month, or knowledgeable, thinkers, communicators, or principal. So those are our learner profile traits. All right, so I created a little video, and if you attended the It's Happening Here, I actually had this video, and you might recognize some of these students. They are taking action last year, collecting things. So we love when our students like to take their action even beyond outside of our school and help the community. So that's some of our friends there, and you can see our wall of flags for our international mindedness. But this is just a look at our school and what it means to be an IB, and I shared this at the It's Happening Here event with the district. My internet must be really slow. Sorry. That's not our video. Sorry. I know how the teachers feel when they're having to teach and then pull up screens and do different things. It gets crazy.
Writing's not that easy, but grammar.
There's our video. Let me get my screen share on. Okay, so that was a lot of the things that we talked about with mission statements, essential agreements were in there, students taking action, inquiry cycle, all of those things were in there. Any other questions or thoughts about the video? You can type them in the chat. A lot of these pictures were from last year too, since you can see some of them without masks and things, but. All right, so I also wanted to share in here too that we are going to be up soon for what's called a self-study or a reevaluation visit. So Cottle Creek actually became an authorized world school in 2018. IB schools ask that every 5 years we complete a self-study once we become authorized. So they want us to continue our program to fidelity. So our self-study is going to actually be in the fall of 2022. So next year we're going to start looking at all the pieces that we need to make sure that we have. So we will be asking some parents to take surveys. So be looking for some surveys coming home next year. And we're also going to be just gathering information. Some parents might be invited in to be talking to our guests who will be looking for our reevaluation visit as well. So we talked a little bit and saw in the video that a big part of IB is our learner profile, because we are developing students who are international minded. So to be international minded, we also have to have some character education traits. So these really help our students become well-rounded students. This is actually like our character education program. So we are students that are inquirers, we're thinkers, we're communicators, risk takers, we're courageous, we're reflective, balanced, open-minded, caring, and principled. And the students, you could see in some of the pictures that they actually learn about these traits, and we choose one a month so that we make sure that we're covering all these and that we're thoroughly talking about them. And there's different ways depending, kindergarten through 5th grade. Kindergarten, they, as you can see, the one with knowledgeable, they got to share what they're knowledgeable about and get their picture. And then even 1st graders, they can draw a picture and show what they're knowledgeable, all the way to 5th graders, where they might write on an index card and put around the word knowledgeable the things that they know about. So we are trying to engage with that, and each lessons and all the lessons that the teachers are doing, they might be covering several of these. They might be working on communicating and having students be risk takers in there. Another big part of the IB program is transdisciplinary themes. So these are our 6 themes, and they actually go across the program. So kindergarten through 5th grade, you should see a picture in our main hallway right by the media center of our program of inquiry board, and it has all of these things on it from K through 5. So there'll be little stars beside the theme that the students are on. So for example, most of the grades just finished Who We Are, so they learn about rights and responsibilities, what it means to be human. So these all tie with our reading and our math and our science and social studies standards. So this really helps for us to cover our science and social studies standards thoroughly and then be able to go even further. So these are the 6 important themes that we cover all the way K through 5. And then we've talked a lot about inquiries. So, and on the video, you could see a lot of boards that look like this, because what we're looking for with the students in an IB education is we want them to first start, when they start a unit, that we want them to be able to dig deeper into their learning. So what do the students know? They start with tuning in. That might be like a KWL chart or an I Wonder board in kindergarten. Then with finding out what is something new that they're learning. So we want them to learn something new. And then sorting out how can they use their knowledge to learn and apply it. And then going further, even deciding what they want to learn past what the teacher was expecting. They make some conclusions, and then they might even take some action. So I think about second graders last year, they got really excited with learning about weather and weather instruments, and then they were able to go, and some of them took action and created their own, and they brought them to school and they used them in the classroom, and the students were pretty excited about that. So Ms. Vale's going to talk a little bit more about what student-led action means in the IB.
So one of the things that drew us to IB in the first place was the student-led action. And some of the pictures that in Mrs. Meehl's video showed some kids doing some things outside of school. One of the things we try to tell the kids, because when we first started, the kids wanted to do a food drive every week or do these extravagant, huge, big things, which, you know, we applaud that. But we tell them it can be just as little as if you see trash on the playground, pick it up. Hold the door open for someone, look out for your neighbor. And sometimes what the goal is of the action is to have them make those connections, why it's important to them. What's that going to do to make the world around you a better place? You know, especially as we come into Christmas, a lot of students are very interested in helping families less fortunate for Christmas time, Thanksgiving time. And I think it just shows the heart of our kids. You know, sometimes when there's kids in a new class, you know, lots of kids will offer them supplies and things. They don't know if a parent has supplies or not, but that's just what they do. That's what they're learning through the learner profiles of being caring, you know, being a risk taker. So that's student-led action. And our kids all the way through 5th grade really learn that. And that's one of the things we want our kids to take with them when they leave Cottle Creek, is that if you see something wrong or something compels you to do something for somebody else or something that's important to you, go do it. Nothing can stop you. You know, you have that ability. So that's one of the most important pieces to all of this, the IB framework, is the student-led action. And so one of the pieces about action is talking to your kids. You know, when we mention new learner profiles each week, each month on the Facebook page, different things like that. Talk to your kids about that. If they come home, lots of classrooms are doing current events, recent newspaper articles. If they make a connection to that, encourage that, ask them questions, ask them how they can help, how they can extend their learning even further. And some kids are just interested in helping others. You know, lots of, like I said, lots of kids want to do canned food drives, help at Christmas time. They're very interested in making sure our lawn is picked up. You know, anything like that where the kids can make a connection to, that's how you as parents can help them. I think one of the things, I mean, I think I said this as a parent too, like, oh, we don't need to worry about that. Or that's, you know, not really our problem, but it technically is. So learning to respond in a way that fosters them to be inquisitive, to make them want to go a little bit further with their learning and what they're interested in.
If you are looking to learn even more about IB, this is the website. You might want to jot this website down, or you can visit our school website. We're trying to always update our school website. There's things that we keep on there, such as our policies. So we actually have policies for IB for each school. So we have a policy about language, inclusion, academic success, and integrity. So check out our website sometime. We've got our mission statement and our vision on there, and all kinds of good information about IB. So at this point, what we might do is just maybe in the chat, just one final thing in here. Just type in one thing that you learned about IB today that you might not have known.
Or questions that you might have as well.
Yeah, that works too. More questions. And I think one thing too, as people are typing and thinking, I give a lot of tours, and a lot of people are very interested in the IB program. And there are a lot of misconceptions out there about the IB program. And some of them are that we only have some of our kids in the IB program. there's a difference between our gifted program and our IB program. Our IB program's inclusive for everybody. So everybody K-5 participates in our program. So we want all of our learners to be thinking deeper and inquiring and asking questions. And this is something that when parents are touring, they get very excited about because they want their kids to be excited about learning. They want them to learn about all the cultures and things. So we're very lucky that we get to be part of this program. And then the gifted program, that would be for students who qualify under gifted and they get some services that are beyond the classroom. All of our students, we're all inclusive with everybody. In transdisciplinary, we want students to be connecting what they're learning in reading and math. Our enhancement teachers incorporate the learning. So we're incorporating things from all across the subjects, including enhancements. And that's what I love. I get to meet with the enhancement teachers and they get to plug into all the lessons. So they get to paint things with Rock Cycle in 4th grade and connect to the different learning units. Yes, and Ms. Vail also said, instead of just teaching everything in isolation, we're tying everything together.
I would have said it out loud, but my dogs are currently barking, so.
It's fine. I thought I'd read it for everybody. And we don't have to fill out any kind of paperwork. I think the confusing thing about that is in the middle years program, there is only so many spots, and especially with the old school, with Mount Morn, they could only include so many students. So there is an application process. In 5th grade, they'll start applying if they choose to the middle years program to middle school. So they do have an application process, but we don't have one here. If somebody was at another school and they wanted to come in and they weren't in our district, then they would have to fill out paperwork, but we don't have any kind of paperwork. And I like that some people said that they learned that it's just bringing to life what they're learning. Okay, are there any other questions or great things that you learned or anything else? All right, so if you ever do have questions, I don't even know if we introduced ourselves at the beginning. I'm Lindsay Mihal. I'm the instructional facilitator and I'm the IB coordinator. So this is also Ms. Fales on here, Susan Fales. She's our principal, and Sean Bach is our assistant principal. And we have worked together really well as a team this year, trying to problem solve all the things that have come up. But just know that IB is very much part of how we are still teaching and learning. So we are still very excited about IB.
Trying to use the reactions.
I know. I like it. All right. Well, we thank you guys for coming on tonight. We appreciate it. And if you've got any questions ever about IB, just go ahead and call the school or email me at Lindsay_Mihal and then that whole long at ISS.
Thanks, everyone. I appreciate it.
Have a great night.